Bates Motel Season 4, Episode 5, Refraction. Definitely enjoyed this episode. We finally got the moment I've been waiting for ever since Norman actually went to the Institute. And that was him believing that he was Norma in front of his psychiatrist. And it was great. I loved that moment. I was really happy when it happened. I was very surprised because the way that they did it, I really thought, Norma was there. And it was suspicious when it first happened because they mentioned before, like, oh, visitors can't go out to, um, like, they can't go out the front. They can only, go out the back and walk. And I thought it was really weird. I'm like, if she was there to see him, why was she, like, randomly walking in the background? And it seemed really weird. I was like, that kind of doesn't make sense. But it was so normal. I was like, well, I guess, like, it makes sense. But that was the first thing that happened. I was like, that can't be her because he's in the back and she's just, like, randomly walking around the corner. And I guess the way they showed, I'm pretty sure they showed him pretty much walking straight out of, the building to the bench. So it was kind of like, that's really weird, but it seems so normal. It can't be fake. And then we find out that it was. And, excuse me, Norman had this moment, probably the first, one of the few moments, I think this was probably the first moment ever where he saw his mom and it was completely normal. Like, he's seen her before, which I think was more like season one sort of thing, season one, season two. But in this one, it was just happy. Like, he's kind of helping himself in his own mind, and he thinks he's getting much better. But of course, he's still crazy, and he's seeing his mom, and it made perfect sense, And when the doctor mentioned it, I was like, I don't know if it is fake or if he's doing that just to see what he says because he knows that clearly, even if he is getting better, there's something wrong. And I thought it could be fake, or she could have actually been there, and he could just be testing him to see what result he gets. Because clearly Norman still needs needs a certain amount of help, but unfortunately, it's just completely fake, which I guess makes sense. There's technically no real hope for Norman, considering obviously where the show's going to lead into. But I like that one. I thought that was a nice little twist because it was such a happy, simple moment and everything, and it just worked. I was like, okay, that she came to see him. He had a good moment, and it all kind of worked out. And then it was completely fake, and he was seeing her. And then when he kind of reaches his boiling point during their talk, instantly switches to Norma. And I love the fact that the psychiatrist knew. And every time he was like, I'm going to ask you a question, I got super excited. Like, I don't know what he's going to ask him. Honestly, I thought the first thing he was going to ask, instead of what if she wasn't really there, I really thought he'd ask about their relationship. Like, do you think your relationship is a bit extra with your mother, or it's more than a normal relationship? Because they talk about how it's typical and why Norman said typical and stuff like that. And I thought he would really ask him about how close they truly are. But after that, the second question, I was like, I don't know what he's really going to ask. I thought he would flat out ask him, who am I talking to at first. But they get there in the end, and that's all it needed to happen for me. I love that scene. So that was very enjoyable. I really loved that one. Excuse me. And the promo has me really excited because not only does he think that he's Norma in this episode, but in the next episode he's himself, and he sees Norma sitting next to him. So I can't wait to see how all that stuff plays out. And I'm actually curious what they're going to have Norma say during those scenes. Like, what is he going to tell himself outside of course, I can't tell you about this or about that. I want to know specifically what does he give himself to kind of shut down. That's what I want to see. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. Um, Kaleb has an interesting story in this episode, and that was surprising because Kaleb's been gone for quite some time. I didn't really expect to have Kaleb come back, and apparently, he'll officially be back next time, but this whole thing, I thought it started because of Dylan. That's what I thought. I was like, okay, his neighbor who says his name, people call me Chick, which I don't remember that being his name at all, but whatever, his name, I'm just going to call him Chick. So, when he was first following Norma, I was like, this has to be, about Dylan. That makes the most sense. Dylan is still around, and it just makes sense. Like, he's still a little bit upset with Dylan. I figured it would be him, even though, of course, Kaleb was the one that kind of jumped him which he did deserve. He did deserve that for sending them on that crappy mission. And it's like, we didn't know that, we never agreed to any sort of substitute. So he sent them on a bum mission to begin with. So he did kind of deserve that, to be honest. But I thought for sure it was all about Dylan, and then it was about Kaleb, and he learned the truth because, of course, Norma's like, "Oh, my brother has never been the most reliable." And as soon as she said that, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that whole confrontation was because he knew that Kaleb was Dylan's dad, and so he had that connection, and I didn't know what to expect. I thought he was going to attack Norma. I think that was kind of the obvious tone of it. He's following her around, being kind of creepy, and then it's all about Kaleb, and he wants his revenge. He clearly hints at, kind of attacking Norma if she doesn't really find out, where Kaleb is. But I like that idea. I thought it was really cool. It ended up being a lot about Kaleb, or really all about Kaleb. It had nothing to do with Dylan. It was like, basically we're fine. It wasn't great, but whatever. Dylan didn't, like, beat me up and cripple me and, steal my money and stuff. So I don't know what they're going to be doing with Kaleb, but I'm excited to see him come back. And, it's crazy that, this neighbor character, he was clearly ominous in the last season, so I don't know how far it's going to go. With it being Kaleb, I'm not sure he's really going to be like, yeah, I'm going to, come back to town and kind of sacrifice myself or anything. That's not really his character. So I'm not 100% sure what to expect from him, but he'll be in the next episode, so I am looking forward to that. Dylan, on the other hand, is doing some interesting stuff as well, in a good way. He gets a new job because he's trying to, move out to Seattle. So all of that works out. Like, his whole storyline was actually nice and happy. He and Emma, together, and she has her issue with her scars and stuff like that, and he shows her his scars and stuff, and he makes jokes about Jaws, things like that. So that I actually enjoyed. He got the job and everything, and we'll see with this show. We'll see what happens if he even gets to make it to that job. So we'll see how all that plays out. But I like that story. It was nice. It was like the nice calming side of this episode. Romero's dealing with more of his own extra stuff. He actually tells Norma. Well, she flat out asks him, like, did you kill the guy? So he admits it, and he realizes things are getting a little iffy because he has this woman that he's slept with for a while, and he tells her about the DEA stuff. He sees her at the office. Like, he comes up to his truck, and seemingly she was drunk, because at first it seemed like she was there to actually taunt him, and then it was like, oh, I'm not here to do that, and then I was like, I'm not sure if she's drunk or not. But either way, it seems a little bad, and I can't think of her name right now, but obviously she's going to have a big role. She, of course, asked him about the key again, so I don't know if he's going to try to, come up with that key out of nowhere all of a sudden, like, hey, I found this key, I don't know where, but I have it now. So I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen or what the case is going to be. And regardless of whether or not she has proof, she knows that this guy disappeared for no good reason. And first thing she did was ask Romero if he killed her, or if he killed him. So I think if she goes down, she's just going to throw that out there, like, he totally did it, even though she has no proof of it. And unfortunately, she'd be right if she kind of threw that out there to the cops. So I don't know what to expect. I mean, obviously, they broke into his house. They broke into, Norma's house, really. And they're looking for the stuff. So who knows? I mean, it's really hard to tell how quickly that's going to escalate and how bad it's really going to be. But I'm looking forward to it. I think whatever they end up doing is going to be chaotic, but it should be pretty entertaining. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Norma, obviously, her dealing with Chick was, it was simple at first. It was obviously super creepy because we knew exactly what was happening from the beginning. Although, like I said, I thought it was more about Dylan than Kaleb. And then she learns the truth, and she has this crazy moment. They're, slowly walking around the table and stuff. And I like that scene because, for a moment, it's like, even after you revealed it was about Kaleb, the fact that he was following Norma around, I was like, I don't know if his revenge idea is to take it out on Norma, or if he's really going to try to look for Kaleb. But fortunately, at least for now, he, kind of sets things straight. Like, I'm just looking, for Kaleb. But like I said, he does hint at the fact that he would hurt Norma if she doesn't end up getting him some answers. So, and clearly she gets them. I mean, even in the promo, it's like, boom, she found him. So he's gonna get some answers, and like I said, we'll see what happens there. Who knows if he'll travel to Kaleb? Like I said, highly doubt Caleb's gonna be coming back into town, and just here I am to sacrifice myself. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm very excited for this next episode. Really curious about the whole Seattle side of the storyline and how they're gonna play that out. If they take off and everything's fine with their lives, something's gonna bring Emma and Dylan back in. So I feel like they might get to Seattle by the end of this season, and maybe like most of the final season, because it's the last season. Um, Most of next season they'll be in Seattle, but something's gonna bring at least Dylan. I'm really worried that Dylan might die. I feel like Emma's fine, but I feel like just some crazy stuff might happen, either this season or next season, and they might kill off Dylan, which I really hope they don't do, because that would suck. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Certainly love this episode, like I said, but I definitely want to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and I gotta ask, what the heck is gonna happen with Kaleb and Chick? I mean, clearly Chick wants his revenge. He made it, not so subtle that he would hurt Norma if she doesn't get answers, and obviously we find out from the promo that she does, and that can really only go one of two ways. Like Kaleb could just come back like, I'm just gonna finish the job. That I would believe. If he came back just in a rage and just wanted to like blow the guy away, that I'd believe. But even if he wanted to do that, I feel like he'd be underestimating things because he'd be so angry. But it's hard to tell how it's gonna work. Somebody's gonna die out of that situation. I feel like it's either gonna be Kaleb or it's gonna be Chick, and I don't know. I don't know if they consider Kaleb really worth saving, or maybe they'll do like a double thing, and maybe Chick kills Kaleb and gets his revenge, and then maybe Dylan actually kills him, because even if Kaleb sucks, still his dad. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, though. Like I said, I definitely want to know what you guys think is going to happen in that regard, and of course what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.